Following on from the EV9, Kia Canada will get the EV5. Now it's Sportage size, so it's got plenty of utility, plenty of space, and it promises to be a popular model. Now it will arrive in mid-2025. At this point, Kia has not said what powertrain will be used in the EV5 when it comes to Canada. However, it could mirror the Chinese market model. If that's the case, it will be offered in standard and long-range rear-drive models, along with a long-range all-wheel drive model. The standard model features a 64 kilowatt-hour battery, a 214 horsepower electric motor, and it has a driving range of 530 kilometers. The long-range model gets a larger 88 kilowatt-hour battery, the same electric motor, and a predicted range of 720 kilometers from a full charge. The long-range all-wheel drive model will use the larger battery, but gets two electric motors. In this case, the two combine to deliver 308 horsepower and a driving range that's expected to be about 650 kilometers. Now, it is important to note that the driving range numbers are for China, and so they will be lower when the EV5 comes to Canada. All of Kia's future EVs, including the EV9 and EV5, will be anchored by the next generation panoramic wide display. It puts 3 screens under a single pane of glass. The next gen part is the 5-inch climate control screen that sits between the 12.3-inch gauge cluster and the 12.3-inch infotainment screen. The style is clean, uncluttered, and it delivers a smart blend of touch points and hard buttons for the climate controls and volume knob. Now, if you look very carefully, you'll also find the start button. Peek through the right side of the steering wheel, and there it sits on the column-mounted shifter. Next up, we have 2 hot concepts. Now, these things are closer to the production units than they are pie-in-the-sky dreams. Now, first up is the EV3. Now, this thing will bring lots of utility, lots of space, but it has one thing that will make it remarkable. It could have a Canadian price of as low as $40,000. Sadly, Kia did not release any information on the drivetrain combinations for the EV3 or EV4. That aside, the EV3 takes a lot of its looks from the EV5 and EV9. This gives it a bold, sculpted body that says substantial. Likewise, it's all about the flexibility with a roomy cabin that's accessed through suicide rear doors. The B-pillarless design gives unfettered access to the pedestal front seats and a 2-seater rear bench. The reality is the suicide doors and the 2-seater bench will disappear when the car comes to market, so expect a more traditional cabin. The good news is the exterior style, well, it was said to be pretty close to the production model. You typically save the best for last. This is the EV4. It's part sedan, part swoopy coupe, and all funk. As with the EV3, the EV4 uses rear hinge suicide doors to ease access to the cabin. One of the highlights is found between the front pedestal seats. The tabletop slides and adds valuable storage space below. The designers are keen to keep this feature in the production model. Sadly though, much of the glitz and glamour that is found inside will disappear when the production version comes to market. Now, I can't wait to get my hands on this thing, especially when the GT arrives. For Driving.ca, I'm Graham Fletcher in Korea.